Hello and welcome to 5 Minute Fresh Start. I'm Sebastian Lucido. Today I want to talk to you about God's love for us, really understanding his love for us. In verse 29, Romans chapter 8, verse 29, it says, "For whom he foreknew, he also predestinated to be conformed into the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he predestinated, those he also called, and those he called, he also justified, and those he justified, he also glorified." So there's a process here. The foreknowledge of God, predestination, right? And we see justification and glorification. The Bible says those he foreknew. And here's the thing. A lot of people put predestination before foreknowledge. And what happens is they think everything is already worked out, right? That why should I live life? Everything's worked out, just I'll live it and I can't change it. That's not true. What he said is those he foreknew. So God's foreknowledge tells God what I'm going to do tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. God's foreknowledge knows what I'm going to do with my free will in the future. And he predestinates a plan to coincide with his foreknowledge that leads me to be conformed into the image of Jesus, that I might be justified, in other words, not guilty in the eyes of God, the judge, and also I might be glorified with Jesus when we're raised up. Verse 31 says, what shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not also freely give us all things? And so when you look at this, the Bible's saying that, we keep trying to find the plan of God, which is out there, which he predestined because of our free will. And it's hard, in the human mind, it's poof, right? It's just too much, it's overload, right? David said that in Psalm 139. He said, you know my ways, you know my thoughts, you know where I am, you know where all of us are. We can't hide from you. Our heart is wide open to you. You know why, not only do we, know things, but you know why we say things. And so here's the thing. We need to understand that God loved us so much that even knowing all of that, he predestinated a plan for us that he would not spare Jesus. He would deliver Jesus to be completely mutilated on the cross. Believe me, no movie comes close to showing what happened to Jesus. His rib cage was open to the world. He was so beaten and mutilated, you couldn't tell if he was a male or a female because they had plucked his beard off his face. And so God watched that and stood back and observed it and watched the humiliation on the stress on his soul, sweating blood. God watched the holy, righteous man die for us so that he could justify us and predestinate a plan for us to justify us and glorify us with Jesus. So why would we think God would abandon us? Or why would we think he would hold us back? He only holds things back from us that would hurt us, right? I think it was yesterday on suffering, right? There's preventative suffering to keep us from being prideful and running away. There's momentum suffering to push us into him. And there's also, evidential or suffering which displays to the world and us that we can handle it, right? Why those things? Because we serve an unseen God who loves us so much that he wants to protect our eternity. And therefore, everything about what he does for us is to make us better. So anyway, that's our message for today. God bless you guys. Please, we're a remote ministry. Please share this. Please pray about partnering with us. Go to our website, watchersoftruth.com. We have thousands